So I tend to focus on well-being tips and tricks that are relevant in my own life, and sleep has been something that's been a little bit challenging as of late for a number of reasons, which I won't get into, but later on we'll get you to reflect about what could be preventing you from sleep. So I tend to do quite a lot of research and look at different approaches on ways that can help me to, you know, heal or help whatever it is that I'm finding challenging at any point in my life. So I thought I'd begin by telling you what sleep is. So I had a look at an article from the Government of South Australia's health website, and they say that sleep is a state of reduced consciousness, but one in which we can be easily awakened. When we sleep, our brains remain active, although activity levels vary throughout the course of sleep, along with other physiological functions such as body temperature, breathing, and heart rate. So basically, we are still conscious on some level because the natural things that the body has to do to keep us alive are still working, still at play, but we have a reduced sense of consciousness. So now I want to talk about why sleep is important. Many reasons, so I've had to narrow down what they are, but thought I chose the most relevant ones to most of us. So firstly, sleep is important because it promotes physical recovery and repair. It supports our brain development, our cardiac function, and our body's metabolism. So looking pretty good so far. Sleep is a winner. It also assists the body in repairing cells, restoring energy, and releasing molecules like hormones and proteins. So the body's quite busy at night, even though we aren't really aware of what's going on. It also removes waste products that build up in our neurons and brain cells. So it's like a cerebral flushing out of all of the things we don't need in our mind and in our brain. There you go. It's also the only time for the prefrontal cortex of the brain to get a rest. So that's the part of our brain that's responsible for decision making, focusing, and basically just being efficient during the day, making decisions, setting goals, that kind of thing. And the only time that it gets a break is when we're asleep. So it's pretty much on until we're ready to go to bed and switch off. So that's really important that that gets a little break so that we can be sprightly the next day and be responsive instead of reactive, and less moody and less agitated and all these things that I'm sure that we've all experienced at some point. And working as educators know exactly when it's time for children to rest. You definitely get that feeling like, okay, why is that really ticking that certain child off when usually they're totally fine with that? Why is it getting to them so much? And then you see them rubbing their eyes, yawning. Okay, it's time for sleep. Yeah, we do the same thing, just in a different way. We're all children at heart. What else? So enough sleep, so adequate sleep for you, enhances concentration and cognition. So that means that we're able to learn new information and, like I said before, focus more efficiently and just generally be more productive. So you know when it's, you wake up in the morning and you know that you haven't really had a good sleep, you're not going to be very productive the next day because your body hasn't had that time to rejuvenate itself and to cultivate that energy that's required of us to be energetic the day after sleep. So it's helps to stabilize our mood more than anything. And I think if we're in a good mood, we make good choices, we make good communicators, and we generally just are more pleasant to be around. So lots of factors, lots of factors. Pretty much covered everything. Also improves your immune function. So you're less likely to get sick once the body's had time to repair itself during the night, like regenerate cells and relax muscles and flush out all that waste from the brain. Then it's actually increasing our immunity or our immune response to things. So lots and lots of benefits, and there's lots more where that came from. I'm going to put a reference at the end of the video for you to check out, and all of the things that I've talked about so far, and maybe do some more research as well. So how much sleep do we need? I had a good research of this today and found the National Sleep Foundation, which sounds pretty legit from what I looked at. However, I do think it's pretty personal. So I know, especially some yogis that I've met can survive off like 4 to 6 hours of sleep, and they're very productive the next day. I think that's probably because they don't tend to use a lot of energy during the day. I could be wrong. But generally they probably don't exert themselves in the way that most of us in our society do, especially working in early childhood education, where we're pretty much constantly in fight or flight mode throughout the whole day. The nervous system is pretty switched on for the whole time that we're at work, because we need to be prepared pretty much for anything. We have to have eyes at the back of our head, at the side of our head, everywhere, because we just don't know what challenges we're going to be faced with daily. So it's not our fault. That's part of our job, but that unfortunately can affect the way that we prepare ourselves for rest, because we need to learn how to switch the nervous system off so that we can sleep. Anyway, more about that later. How much sleep do we need? The National Sleep Foundation recommends for teenagers, so that's human beings between the ages of 14 and 17, to have between 8 and 10 hours every night. Younger adults, so between the ages of 18 and 25, require 7 to 9 hours sleep. Adults between the ages of 26 to 64 require also 7 to 9 hours sleep. And older adults, so those 65 years and over, require just 7 to 8 hours. So seems to get a little bit less with time. And that's been updated recently as well. So the National Sleep Foundation, you can find that information on. Next, I want to discuss the things that may prevent us from sleeping. There are many different reasons that can prevent us from falling asleep and from staying asleep. I'm not a sleep expert, but I'm just speaking from experience and from the research that I've done over time. So please, if you have anything else to add in the comments or afterwards, if you want to add anything at all, I'm super interested to hear. But like I said, I'm just going off my own experience and from the research that I've done. So it could be hormonal reasons. At that time of the month for women, especially a week before, our cortisol levels increase in the body. So that's the stress response, which makes it hard to fall asleep and stay asleep. And I definitely notice that every month. I find it difficult to sleep, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm so tired, but nothing's happening. I can feel my heart rate increasing. Am I worried about something? Am I anxious? Yeah, I mean, that's probably part of the problem as well. But hormones play a big role in sleep as well. So just bear that in mind. I have a great app called Flow, F-L-O, which tracks my menstrual cycle. Probably too much information, but anyway, it all happens to all of us. And that's a really great way to stay updated on the things that are happening in your body, even weekly, even when it's not near that time of the month. They give you really good insights into what to expect and what you can do to help assist the process. There you go. So it could also be your environment. If you're anything like me and you're a light sleeper, then you might find it hard to fall asleep if you have children and you're kind of always on edge waiting for them to wake up or anticipating them to wake up. Or if you live with housemates and there's a lot of noise pollution, or in the city, whatever it might be. But the environment can play a big part in your sleep. It could be something mental or emotional. So a lot of the time when, I don't know, just talking to friends, talking to people in general, they go, oh, I've got a bit of anxiety, but I don't know why. And I've said that before as well. So I think it's really important during the day to reflect on the reasons that you might not be sleeping. Don't do it right before bed, because then you won't sleep at all. But when you've got time during the day to think about, what is it that's preventing me from falling asleep naturally? From just feeling relaxed as soon as I hit the pillow? What's going on there? Is there something that I need to maybe confront in my personal life? Something that I need to just tie up loose ends with? Have a little bit of a think about that, because that can be super helpful. And once you find a way to combat that, then sleep might come a lot more naturally. And another one could be that you're super tired, but you're also feeling wired. And what I was saying before, working in early childhood, we are constantly in fight or flight. Yeah, we're always anticipating something to happen. Not that we're sort of lurking around our centers, you know, like, oh, what next? We're not always stressed, but we do have to have that response system on, because we have to sometimes make decisions very, very instantly. And you know, we have that's part of our role, especially room leaders, you know, lots of responsibility to be there for children that need it, especially if they have any sort of special requirements. Our nervous system gets a pretty good workout during the day. And the things that I'm going to talk about next are the things we can do to induce sleep. So I've come up with 3 ways to induce sleep. So we've got prepare for sleep, how to promote sleep, and how to permit yourself to sleep. So preparing yourself for sleep. Couple of things you can do here. You can eat your last meal 2 hours before you go to sleep. So it takes energy for the body to digest food, right? And if the body is working, but it also wants to go to sleep and it also wants to stop working, it's going to take you longer to fall asleep. So if you can have your last meal 2 hours and give yourself time to digest your food, to let the body actually have that preparation time to stop working so hard, then sleep might be a little bit easier. Yeah. Also, I know that I am a very bad culprit for this, and I'm not, by no means have I embedded this into my life consistently, but at least an hour before bed, no screen time. That's laptop as well. I know sometimes it's really good to check out mentally and watch a bit of Netflix, but I actually watched a great video on sleep today that said that the blue light, the blue light filter or whatever it is on our devices, that actually tricks our brain into thinking that it's still daytime. So if we're not preparing the environment and ourselves for sleep, then it's just going to be super hard. It's not going to feel natural for us to go to sleep. Unconsciously, the brain knows, right? As soon as it gets dark, and if you have a very good circadian rhythm built into your system, you'll start to feel tired. Yeah, and if you have a pretty consistent routine throughout your life, the body will wake up at the same time every day, and the body will get tired and go to sleep at the same time every evening. So preparing yourself for sleep is really, really helpful. It gets the body and the mind ready to fall asleep naturally. Okay, so ways to promote sleep from here. I've said that we should create the mood for sleep. So like I was saying before, the environment plays a very big role in getting ready for sleep. And this is really helpful for your children as well. Don't have the TV on just before they're going to go to bed. Don't have all the lights in the house on. Don't have all the blinds open. Don't have lots of things that are stimulating around you. As much as you can, let the environment calm you. And you can assist that by dimming your lights or having no lights on at all. You can assist that by playing some soft music in the background. I've got a link to great sleep music that I'm going to put in the comments afterward. You can diffuse some lavender. So I've got my little, I brought a couple little things to show you this evening. This is my lavender essential oil. It's brandless. I think I got it at the Happy Herb shop. Lavender's super popular. Just try and buy good quality products where you can. Lavender helps you fall asleep. I diffuse that before I go to bed. I put it on about an hour before sleep time. I have my lamp on in my room. I play soft background music. I prepare my environment and I get ready to go to bed. And like I said before, if you can, going to sleep around the same time every night. It might be tricky, especially if you're like myself and you have a very weird schedule where some days you have to wake up at 5 or 10 to 6, and other days maybe you can wake up a little bit later, 2 hours later. It's actually not helpful because the body has no rhythm to work with, and the body lacks rhythm. The brain lacks rhythm. So being consistent in your practices is really good as well. Okay, so now permitting ourselves to sleep. I found recently when I've been finding it difficult to fall asleep, I've just said, I'm consciously going into sleep now. I don't need my thoughts. I don't need to be worrying about anything because there's actually nothing I can do in this moment. If I want to be well, if I want to be functioning at my optimal and be pleasant to be around tomorrow, be efficient, get things done, I need to sleep. So it's almost like I'm talking myself into sleep. Call me crazy, but it did actually work the other night. Another thing, if you are a light sleeper, and I don't know whether I've always been like this or it's just been since I've been traveling, or maybe just because my door is, or my room is the closest one to the front door, so I act like a bit of a guard dog when people are coming back at weird hours of the night. I just find it difficult to fall asleep unless everyone in my house is resting. So I invested in some titanium earplugs. I know it sounds really extreme, but they block out all noise, which perhaps might not be a good thing if you live alone and you need to be alert for anything, God forbid, that happens during your sleep. That might not be the best thing to happen. But they come in a little pack like this, super cute, and they're just tiny things like this. And you cannot hear a mouse with this thing on. You just squish it like so and mold it to your ear and stick it right in, and yeah, it helps me a lot. So I put it in my little pouch. I got the link to that at in the comments as well, so if that's something you're interested in. I also have an eye pillow that was actually given to me as a gift, which was one of the best gifts I've ever received. It's just got wheat in it. So you can also warm it up in the microwave. It can be really nice to put over the eyes, especially if you've got really tired eyes and they just need a little bit of soothing. This is great, and then you can put a couple of drops of lavender oil on it as well. Really nice. Might be a bit difficult if you sleep on your side. I sometimes just completely fall asleep in the corpse position, so having it over my eyes doesn't fuss me at all. You could just even do that 5 or 10 minutes before you're ready to go to sleep. So just lie down and have it over your eyes with your soft, sleepy background music. And last thing that works for me personally is, and again, especially at that time of the month, if you experience any cramps or spasms, magnesium. This one's by Ethical Nutrients. It's called Mega Magnesium. You can take 1 or 2 a day. I generally just take it when it's that time of the month, but helps with spasms and also helps with nervous system support. So if you find you've got a bit of anxiety or stress, this might help you. Yeah. A couple of other things in my notes. I've got chamomile tea or tulsi tea, really calming and relaxing. If you're like me and you've got a terrible bladder, I wouldn't recommend just having half a cup before you go to bed. And if you can, like half an hour or an hour before even. And the last thing I wanted to mention was yoga nidra or meditation. Whatever you're into. There's so many apps out there that have such great quality guided meditations and yoga nidras. Just choose one of them. I'm going to link one in the comments. A great app to use is Insight Timer if you have heard of that before, or if you haven't. Another one is Calm, the app Calm. So yeah, there you go. There's a couple of little things that hopefully can help you with sleep. I really hope that you found tonight useful. Please give me any feedback, any suggestions, any links to anything. I haven't seen anything pop up yet because I am on my phone and I can't see the comments, but I will be sure to write it in the comments when I finish the session. So yeah. If you're not already on the newsletter mailing list, head over to my Instagram page, and the link there to join the mailing list is on the profile. So just the @ belong, be, become, and that way you can stay in touch and you can be in the know with all the things that I'm doing. So there's quite a lot of exciting things happening with Belong, Be, Become. Educator Retreat, which I'm gauging some interest for. So wellbeing retreat for everyone to meet each other and just have a very well-deserved break from early childhood education. I've got some yoga videos that'll be coming out very soon. And all things wellness. I just try to offer up anything that served me in my life and made me feel physically better, emotionally more stable, and professionally motivated. And I don't think that those things should be kept a secret. I love sharing, and I love engaging with all you guys and hearing your ideas as well. So please feel free to get in touch. And yeah, have a lovely Wednesday evening. Thanks so much.